In a recent Battletech campaign, I was able to salvage a Cyclops. Minimal damage, a little bit of armor, repaint, ready to go. And I utilized that mech in the campaign, but that's different than building a lance or selecting mechs based on battle value for an upcoming game or a series of games. And the Cyclops is one of those mechs that it's not bad, but it's not really that good either. And when we're talking about battle value and when we're talking about earning with it and an assault mech, anything really over a medium mech, it really needs to be very, very focused, because at whatever level game that you're playing, lower, mid, or higher level battle value games, assault mechs occupy a significant battle value. So you really need them to be focused, excel, and bring the best that assault mechs can bring to the game. So in that case, would I select a Cyclops as a frontline assault mech? Again, one thing to have an underperforming light or medium because you like the design or it looks cool or it does something kind of quirky, but to tie up that battle value for a Cyclops, yes or no? Would you take the Cyclops and sell it, or would you utilize it? Now, let's kind of explore the tactica, now that we've got that framework behind the Cyclops, and the one thing that makes it very potent on the table. But there's a couple of qualifiers to that with its battle computer. You've got an autocannon 20. Right away, I'm in. If you've been following my Battletech playlist here in Tactica, I love big guns. I love autocannon 20s because if I get up there, no matter what those modifiers are, you're going to be nervous. You're going to be scared. I'm going to be firing that autocannon 20 as soon as we're in range. You can't ignore it. You can't dance around it. You've got to deal with it. And the Cyclops is going to make it up there because it has the armor. It's got okay speed. And once it gets up there, it's got the staying power. Sidebar for a moment, kind of the Hunchback, a very, very solid medium mech. That has an autocannon 20. Similarly, if I get up there, I'm going to start blasting away. But a medium mech, there's a little more finesse. You just can't bulldog in. Not that you always want to do that, but I could do that with an assault mech. And then, of course, the Hunchback is a little bit more focused in that I have to be aware of what else is going on around me. I can take the shot, I can get the shot, but in the counter fire back, I don't have the full armor like an assault mech. Not that I want to. I'm going to try and use positioning. But again, a Cyclops, okay, you know what? I'll take your 2 or 3 potential medium laser hits. I'm going to blast away with that autocannon 20. And if I connect, you're in trouble. Sidebar, the location of the autocannon 20 is very, very important. Cyclops has that. So this way I can get up to 1 hex point blank, and I'm going to be punching you. I'm going to be trying to kick you. I'm going to be trying to do physical attacks to leverage that massive tonnage. So there's some nice synergy right there in that normally I'm going to try and get close in physical attack. I'm going to use that autocannon 20. Long range, LRM 10. That just seems a little weak. Minimum, and I'm stretching it here. There better be some other really good stuff on this machine. LRM 15. At the tonnage that the Cyclops come in and assault mechs, I want to see, if it's a single, I want to see a 20-pack. Now, sidebarring for a moment, looking at the longbow, 220s, 25s, that's a dedicated LRM machine. We look at the Bombardier, same thing, dedicated LRM machine. The Cyclops isn't that, so to have a 10-pack, I really want to see a 20 on there. Okay, the 10 gives me something to do on the way in, but it's a little bit underpowered. 2 medium lasers. Okay, we've got tandem. That's pretty solid for medium close-in work. And then a short-range missile 4-pack. Again, I feel like the tonnage, I know it's a balance here. I feel like that should be a 6-pack. Now, I could mech that out and see what happens there. Change some things, fit some things. But for the most part, you've got that 20, the 10, the 2 medium lasers, and the short-range missile 4. This just feels a little bit underpowered for an assault mech with what we're going to be asking it to do. Now, it is a very generalized mech. Again, to sidebar back, if you look at the longbow, that's an LRM carrier machine just to blast that out. The Cyclops has got a little bit of everything. As part of a lance, we're moving in. I lay down the 10-pack. I fire as I can. We get closer. I've got the medium lasers. I close to really short range, leveraging the staying power, anchor point, sitting there, occupying the hex, and hitting you with my 4-pack, my medium lasers, and my autocannon 20. Just feels a little underwhelming. Compare that to a Stalker. Compare that to some other assault machines, and we begin to see. Now, this is where the narrative comes in. The battle computer, it's got the electronics, it's got the counter suite, it's got the command and control, all that. Yes, in the narrative, it's still an assault mech. It's still going to bully mediums and stand up to heavies. So with that, in the narrative, yes, there's some Cyclopses that don't have the battle computer. They've been removed. That's kind of an RPG narrative thing. You have the option to utilize the battle computer if you're playing with design quirks. Now, the thing here with the design quirks is it's either all or nothing. The battle computer will give you that +1 roll for initiative. Command and control, holograms jacked in, doing that shadow run thing because it's the 80s. Absolutely. But do you really need that? Again, to take the battle value for that, if I'm in a campaign and I salvage it and I can't sell it because I'm in the middle of the campaign, that's a different story. To select that for the +1 roll, that's a tax. You're paying a tax to buy in to get that +1. I could take a mobile HQ and get that, although we're going to cover mobile HQs again. There's easier, more efficient ways, playing rules as written, not house rules, to get that +1. It's called taking initiative sinks. It's called taking some light helicopters. The Ferret. Last week I pushed up to the channel playlist here under Battletech. We're looking at some helicopter VTOL Tactica, starting with the Ferret, looking at the Warrior, and looking at some of the heavier attack helicopters. For like 50-something battle value, I can get a Ferret, so I can get 2 of those. And there's my initiative sink, meaning I move those before the pieces that I really want to move. Or if it comes down to like your mech is facing my mech and we have to see who moves first, I move a helicopter, force you to move. I can get that +1. I can mimic that +1, the battle computer, in much more efficient Battletech, battle value ways. So, in my opinion, the Cyclops, it's a little bit undergunned, underwhelming, not that impressive. But it still is an assault mech. The question is, I feel like it's primarily a close-in machine. So the LRM-10 and the medium lasers, that's stuff on the way in. I want to get to point blank. I want to leverage that armor. I want to leverage physical attacks with the tonnage. But turning it over to my fellow mech warriors, mech commanders in the comments, if you have the battle value for a Cyclops, or you got the C-bills, and it's open bid, buy what you want, take what you want, I feel there are better machines.